So it's time to share my story, or at least a part of it where I was married and at the time thought I was happy. Honestly, this is a pretty common tale. It's not anything new for people who will hear it, but it's my first time telling it. Right after college, I met Emily. She was a few years older than me, 5 years to be exact. She hadn't been married before, but she'd been in a long-term relationship that ended badly. Her fiancé cheated on her right before their wedding, and they split up. As for me, I'd never been married or even really had a serious relationship. I wasn't the romantic type, just live my life, and I mostly ignored the attention from the many girls who showed interest. But when it came time to settle down, I ended up marrying her. She just seemed different, calmer, more modest, even a little mysterious. She always carried herself with such dignity, and that's what drew me in. Back then, I had this perfect life plan all laid out. Every little thing was figured out down to the last detail, and at that point the next step was buy an apartment. I knew exactly what I wanted. A big 3-bedroom place in a new building, a mortgage, and a few renovations. To cover the financial load, I got a job as a trucker at a transport company. I worked my ass off, disappearing for weeks and sometimes months at a time. But my wife was happy with everything, trusted me fully, and I tried my best to provide for her so she'd never have to want for anything. Our family life seemed perfect. We didn't fight. Honestly, there wasn't much time for it. As time passed, things just kept falling into place. Problems were solved, tasks checked off the list. We bought the apartment and worked while she started helping out too. She took a job at a clothing store near our place. But at some point, I'm not even sure when, things started to fall apart. My peaceful life was shattered by a string of unpleasant events. I think it all started with one stupid morning, right before I was about to head off on another work trip. "Good morning. Aren't you leaving today?" My wife asked me when I was having breakfast. "Yes, I'm leaving today at 11 o'clock. What about you? Have you got anything planned?" I answered more out of politeness than curiosity, since I already knew what she did every day. She called and sent me photos of what she was doing in my absence. I've been at work all day, and after that, I'm going to visit my sister. She and her husband are going on a bus trip around the region to visit beautiful and interesting places. Olivia and Sam, however, will not go. I think I'll join them. Tara can go too, if her husband allows it. Or maybe you can come with us. We could all go on tour together. Are you serious? I have 2 weeks of continuous work ahead of me, and I'm already tired of sitting in the car. Let's leave it at that. I'll meet with all of you later. This weekend. It's just not in my plans, I said, trying to lighten the mood. She had her own schedule. She was busy all day, and sometimes she worked. To be honest, she didn't work that much, but when she did, it was a good job. Just 4 days a week. It was a dream job. The usual days dragged on, and then, for no reason at all, our company had problems and several flights of colleagues were canceled. In the end, I worked for 4 terrible days and then finally trudged home. To be honest, I was somewhat relieved by the change in my schedule, especially because on the second day at home I felt weak and tired, or at least it seemed so to me. I caught some kind of infection. I had a sore throat, runny nose, and then on the 4th day, the unexpected and frankly a little alarming symptoms became more pronounced in my personal sphere. I had no choice but to go straight to the doctor. I'll skip all the doctor's office details and cut straight to the chase. I had picked up an STI. How the hell did that happen? I mean, I don't mess around, and my wife isn't the type either. She's not one of those women. What the hell was going on? What would she think of me now? How could she prove her innocence? Honestly, it looked like there was no escaping a massive scandal because the evidence was pretty clear. It was about noon when I ran to the pharmacy located down the street, and as luck would have it, I ran into my wife's sister Julia right on the street. "Hi," I said, trying to act normal and hide my panic. Julia froze for a moment. Maybe she didn't hear me, or maybe she just didn't understand at all what I was trying to say. "Didn't you go on a trip with your husband?" I said, watching her shift her gaze. She was looking at something or someone behind me. So I turn around and there she is, my wife, strolling by, staring at her phone. At that moment, a lump formed in my stomach. "Anna, What the hell is going on? I'm not the kind of guy who just freezes in moments like this. I quickly realized what was up and yanked the phone out of her hand, starting to scroll through it. "Give it back!" she shouted, trying to grab it from me. But I was already looking through everything I needed to see. The gallery was filled with photos of a man I recognized, the owner of the store where my wife worked. It turns out she wasn't exactly bored while I was away. Restaurants, clubs, saunas, swimming pools, weekend getaways. I could see where she had been. I knew the spots from her photos. One of them was a tourist site with an old church in the background, and she had even sent me a picture from there, saying it was part of her excursion. What kind of excursion is this? I snapped, "Are you having a good time? You even brought me a souvenir," I said, pointing at her jacket like a madman. "Come on, stop it." "I'm sorry. What have you been doing? Who is this guy?" I asked, having already noticed a couple of other men in the photos. I wanted to know if they were more than just friends. She didn't say a word, and to be honest, I didn't need to hear anything from her anymore. I was fuming. My anger grew, and I grabbed her phone and threw it on the asphalt with all my might. It broke into pieces. The next day, I filed for divorce. After a long conversation with my wife's sister, she told me everything. How she had caught Emily in our bed with one of her lovers. Apparently, while I was gone, Emily wasn't exactly keeping things low-key. She wasn't just out there having harmless fun. She had 2 lovers, both of whom I knew. So yeah, there was no doubt in my mind that filing for divorce was the right thing to do. Emily didn't give up easily, though. She bombarded me with texts and calls, begging for forgiveness day and night. But what was the point? I had no interest in giving her another chance. About a year later, I remarried. Life with my new wife has been great, and I'm happy. I still hear about Emily from time to time when I run into her sister. Apparently, Emily married one of the guys she'd been seeing, and according to Julia, their marriage is going pretty well. Well, good for her, I guess.